Hello there, social media universe. Mike Sheila. For those of you not watched my videos before, I have been in B2B sales now since 1999, so for 26 years. And in that time, I've met with a little over 1,000 different business owners, CEOs, other executives, director level decision makers. And today I wanted to crunch some numbers. So this is an exercise that I like to do when I talk to a client so that they can understand the financial impact of risk on their business. So for a moment, let's imagine that you are a typical small business, meaning you generate about $6 million a year in revenue. That works out to $500,000 a month. That works out to about $24,000 per day, which works out to about $3,000 per hour on a typical 8-hour workday. So that is the dailies of the expenses or the money that your company generates. Now, the flip side of that is while you might be generating $6,000 per hour or I'm sorry, $3,000 per hour or $24,000 per day, a lot of that is taken up by your operational expenses. So the biggest number in there is your people, what you pay them as a salary plus benefits. Then the next one on the list is, where is your office? Do you own a building? Are you renting space? That's a significant expense. And then along to go with that is your utilities, your phone, your electric, your internet. And then next down the line is the equipment that you fill that office with, your desks, your chairs, your computers, your pens, your pencils, your paper, all the things that make an office an office. And then you have your miscellaneous expenses. Now, for miscellaneous expenses, I wrote down conferences, trade shows, hotels, associations, chamber of commerce. But there has to be an ancillary fund. You got to paint the walls in the office. You got to put new carpet in. You got to put a couch out in the reception area, something like that. So there's a lot that goes into the operational expenses. So when you look at that $3,000 per hour, maybe you have $500 to $1,000 left of margin afterwards. It's probably closer to 500. So let's go with that. So when I talk to people, I talk to them about assessing risk, particularly for their business, because I see particularly a lot of small businesses don't do nearly enough from a cybersecurity standpoint to prevent a breach or ransomware. And the response I commonly get from people is, oh, well, I've got insurance for cybersecurity, so I'm not worried about that. That will cover it. But here's the thing. The cybersecurity insurance is meant to cover the ransomware by and large. It will help replace equipment that may have been irrevocably damaged. A bad actor destroys a server, destroys your laptops, what have you, makes them inoperable. It's been designed to do all of that. What it hasn't been designed to do is replace the income per hour that you receive. Because if you go and Google the average ransomware attack, the impact is an average of 22 days to recover from it. Now, that seems like a long number, but let's take 10% of that. 2 days, 2.2 days. Can you really afford 16, 18, 20 hours of zero revenue productivity? Can you afford that? And on top of that, think about the customers that you lost because you couldn't respond to the incident, or think about the customers that you didn't have a chance to interact with because when they tried to call you or contact you through your website, everything was down and nobody could talk to them. Because in this day and age, if somebody contacts you and they don't get an almost immediate engagement, they're moving on to the next business to try and find a solution to their problem. So there's a lot that goes into evaluating the risk for your business when it comes to a cybersecurity attack. And think about this. How much are you spending today on your cybersecurity? And is it really enough to prevent all of this from happening? Would love to have your comments. Please leave one below. Send me a DM. Give this post a like or a share. Hopefully I gave you some food for thought. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I know this was a longer video. Thanks for sticking in with me.